Sophia, can I be totally honest? I feel like every English learner on the planet has the same problems, and I have all of them.
Oh, I love this already. Come on, tell me, what's killing you?
Number one, my brain freezes when I want to speak. Completely. In my head, I know the words, but when I open my mouth, nothing comes out. Just stress, panic, and maybe one sad little
Yeah, classic. You're great at English until it's time to actually use it with a real human.
Exactly. When I'm alone, I can talk to myself in English like a movie star. When I meet a real person, I turn into a broken robot.
You're not a broken robot. You're a normal English learner. Every single one of my friends has this problem. They understand podcasts, YouTube videos, even series on Netflix. But when a real person says, "So, how's it going?" their mind goes completely blank.
That's me. I also hate that I think in my own language first. I want to say something simple like, I had a busy day, but instead I built a long sentence in my language, try to translate every word, and by the time I'm ready, the conversation is already over.
So you're doing the translation dance.
The translation nightmare. It feels like having two slow apps open on an old phone. Nothing moves.
I know that feeling. I remember sitting in a meeting at work thinking, okay, think in English, but my brain was like, nope, we're going to think in your language, translate every word, then panic.
And while we're talking about panic, fear of mistakes, huge problem. I'm scared of making grammar mistakes, pronunciation mistakes, wrong word mistakes, everything. I'm scared the other person will secretly judge me.
Yeah, that fear is 100% universal. You're not special at all. Sorry.
Wow, thank you for the support.
I mean it in a good way. Every learner feels this. The quiet ones, the loud ones, the serious students, the lazy ones, the I watch one English video and feel productive people. All of them. The fear of mistakes is so strong that some learners prefer silence. They think, if I say nothing, I say nothing wrong.
That's literally me in meetings. I sometimes have a good idea in English, but the sentence in my head is not perfect, so I say nothing. Then someone else says something similar, and everyone says, "Great idea," and inside I'm screaming.
Been there. The problem is, silence feels safe, but it kills your progress. You protect yourself from embarrassment, but you also protect yourself from growth.
Deep. I hate that you're right.
What else is on your 100% problems list?
Okay, listening. I can understand slow English, teacher English, YouTube English, but real native speakers in the wild, they talk too fast. They eat half the words, they use slang, they talk over each other. I understand like 40%, smile like I understand 100%, and hope they don't ask me anything.
That fake, I totally understand smile.
Exactly. And then later, I go home and replay the conversation in my head and think, why didn't I ask them to repeat? Why didn't I tell them to slow down? But in the moment, I feel shy and I don't want to look stupid.
This is such a common trap. People think, if I ask, they'll think I'm bad at English. But actually, asking is normal. Even native speakers ask, "Sorry, can you say that again?"
Yeah, but when I try to say that, it comes out like, what? Again? And then I feel rude.
So we can add another problem, not having simple, ready phrases to survive real conversation. Not just grammar, but those small lines that keep the conversation alive.
True, I have grammar rules in my brain, but not enough natural lines in my mouth.
I like that sentence. Rules in my brain, no lines in my mouth. That could be the title of your autobiography.
I'd buy it. Another problem. I learn words, then I forget them. I see a new word, I look at it, I say, "Yes, my dear new word. I will never forget you." And 2 days later, gone.
Same. I used to write beautiful vocabulary lists in my notebook, so organized, so colorful, and then never used them. My English notebook was perfect. My English speaking, not so perfect.
So the problem isn't only learning words, it's using them. I feel like I have a big museum of words in my brain, but the museum is always closed.
Doors open only for exams.
Exactly. And when I need those words in real life, they are all sleeping.
Okay, so let's list what we have so far. Fear of speaking, thinking in the first language, fear of mistakes, trouble with fast listening, forgetting vocabulary, and
Wait, there's more. Motivation. Some days I feel super motivated. I watch English videos, I talk to myself in the mirror, I even change my phone's language to English. Other days I see one difficult sentence and think, nope, I'm done. I'm going back to funny cat videos.
that's normal. Motivation goes up and down like Wi-Fi. Strong today, weak tomorrow.
And when motivation is low, everything feels heavy. Even pressing play on a 5-minute podcast feels like hard work.
Yeah, learners think they're lazy, but usually they're just tired, stressed, or bored by the wrong material. They blame themselves instead of changing the way they learn.
You sound like a coach right now.
I'm not a coach. I'm just someone who screamed inside my head for years and finally got tired of the drama.
So, how did you move past these problems? Or do you still have them?
I still have them sometimes, but they're quieter now. For example, I still feel nervous before a big call in English, but I know how to handle it. I still sometimes translate in my head, but much less. I still forget words, but I don't cry about it anymore.
I still struggle, but I don't cry about it.
That's a good level. And honestly, your English is already strong. The biggest problem for you isn't grammar, it's fear. Fear creates a wall between your brain and your mouth.
So the enemy is fear, not English.
Exactly. Fear tells you you're not ready, your accent is weird, your grammar will be wrong, people will laugh. But the truth is, most people are just happy you're trying. They're listening to your message, not counting your mistakes.
I wish my brain believes that.
Then you have to prove it to your brain with real experiences. Talk even when you're nervous. Say something in a meeting, even if the sentence is not perfect. Ask someone to repeat, even if you feel shy. Every time you do that and nothing horrible happens, your brain learns, oh, maybe it's safe here.
So I have to walk through the fear instead of waiting until it disappears.
Yes, if you wait until you feel zero fear, you'll wait forever. Everybody is scared the first time they speak, or the first 20 times.
You know what the worst part is? Online, I see people who speak English so fast and so confidently. They sit in front of a camera, talk for 20 minutes, no problem. And I think, why can't I be like that?
What you don't see is the years before that, the mistakes, the awkward pauses, the nights they couldn't sleep after a bad conversation. You see the highlight, not the process.
So my problem is also comparison, comparing my inside to other people's outside.
Exactly. It's like watching a finished movie and forgetting that someone spent months filming, editing, making mistakes, deleting scenes, trying again.
Okay, let me say my 100% problems in one sentence. I'm scared to speak. I translate too much. I'm afraid of mistakes. I don't understand fast speech. I forget words. My motivation dies. And I compare myself to people who look perfect online.
Congratulations! You are officially a normal English learner.
That doesn't sound very special.
It is special because you're talking about it honestly. Most people just say, my English is bad, and stop there. But you're actually naming the real problems. That's the first step to changing them.
You know, this conversation itself feels like a small victory. I'm talking about complicated feelings in English. A few years ago, I couldn't do that.
Exactly. You're already doing the thing you think you can't do. You're speaking, you're expressing nuance, you're not reading from a script.
True, I'm not perfect, but I'm not silent either.
And that's what makes you different from millions of learners who stay quiet. You're willing to sound human, with mistakes, with pauses, with and but still speak.
So maybe the real viral thing isn't perfect English. Maybe it's honest English. Real feelings, real problems.
I agree. People connect with real stories. When you say, I was so nervous I forgot how to say good morning, every learner feels that in their bones.
Because they've lived it.
Exactly. So instead of hiding your problems, you can talk about them, share them, turn them into stories. That way, your struggles become your power.
That actually makes me feel lighter. Like my problems are not a secret shame, but something I can use.
You can. Next time you feel afraid to speak, remember this. Somewhere in the world, millions of people are feeling the same thing at the same time. You're not alone. You're part of a big, noisy, scared, brave community of learners.
A big, noisy, scared, brave community. I like that.
And every time you open your mouth and say something in English, even if it's not perfect, you're moving forward with them, step by step.
Okay, then my job is simple. Open my mouth more often.
Exactly. Open your mouth, share your ideas, laugh at your mistakes, and keep going. That's the only way fear loses.
Deal. And maybe one day I'll sit in front of a camera, talk naturally in English, and some nervous learner will watch me and think, wow, I wish I could speak like that.
And you'll know the truth. You were exactly like them once. You just kept speaking.